Hello, illuminated souls. I'm Bri and Tina.
And I'm Tina Demore.
Welcome to Shamans After Dark. Today, we're going to talk about power animals, what they are, and how they can enrich our lives. So, power animals are so near and dear to my heart. I
Me too.
just love doing power animal retrievals and so deeply enjoy my relationship with my own personal, power animals. So, we want to talk a little bit about, Tina, what is a power animal and what are they really? And
Yeah, I mean, this is also a very favorite topic of mine. Even talking about power animals gets me all warm and fuzzy because it's sort of like this. I could feel my power animals getting like, "Ooh, you're talking,"
yes.
but we can't. Of course, we're not going to reveal who they are unless we have permission, because that we don't want to give our power away. But a power animal is the energy, the formless energy of a being that has walked on this earth at one time in the form of an animal, and has died and then gone home back into the light and then decided to volunteer to be someone's guardian spirit, so to speak. And power animals give us power, they loan their power to us. And so that power really can't be defined. And as our human minds like to do, we like to hang on to form, and we want to know
Yes.
all about, for instance, I have permission to talk about my crow. And, my business is Three Crows Healing. I have permission to talk about that one publicly. And, they can take all kinds of forms. They can shapeshift into whatever they want to shapeshift into if they want to. But they really are formless beings that are divine, that know everything about you more than you even know about yourself. They are wise teachers, and sometimes with a very good sense of humor.
Yes. And they take the shape they take so that you can understand the
Yes.
medicine they are bringing to you, the energy,
Mhm.
the gifts that they are coming with to assist you at this time in your life. Some power animals come forward and are with us our whole lives, and some come and go as we need them. So we need them for a time, and then they've assisted us, and we've elevated or we've grown, and now it's time for another power animal to come in.
Right? We were just talking about that. Yeah.
Exactly,
Before this.
yeah, and and it's such a bittersweet thing, right? When you have a power animal that's been with you for a long time, that's like,
It is.
our work is done, and, now it's time for this new animal to come in, and, you know, I want them all to stay and be like,
I know.
"Oh, my friends, don't leave
I
me."
love
I
you.
know, yes, but they always show have found, at least mine have always popped back up every once in a while to give me a wink and a nudge and like, "Hey, hey, we haven't really
Well,
left you.
here.
Keep my eye on you."
Yes.
I
Yeah.
saw what you did there. That's good. It's good, Brie. Do you get a little too married to form? I think I've actually journeyed quite a few times to my power animals and worked with them just in their energetic vibration, where I'm in my energetic vibration, they're in their energetic vibration. So I always recognize them no matter what form they take or choose to show themselves to me. I
Yes.
know who they are because
Yes.
that vibration, that energetic signature never changes, regardless of form. Because, form is set in when we're journeying and in the shamanic realms is a mind construct that we apply to
It
things
is.
in order
Right.
to understand what we're engaging with.
Very well said.
So, Tina, why do we bring power animals back for somebody? What do they alleviate or help in us when they come back with their medicine to kind of empower us?
Well, that's a really good question. I mean, we can lose power in our lives. So I'm going to give you an example. Somebody can lose power and then get sick, or they can get sick and then lose power. And so this is just an example. So you can give your power away to others, people that are in authority or that you think they know more, and so you give your power up to them, and so you lose that power. But that power can come back to you in a form, like you said, in a form that our heart understands, so we can understand the kind of power they're loaning to us. There's so many ways we can lose our power. We can lose our self-confidence with something. We can be, the symptoms of losing our power, I think, is easier to approach because there's so many ways we can lose our power, especially in our culture. The symptoms are just feeling deflated, losing hope,
Lethargic.
lethargic. Yeah, thank you. Depressed. Again, a lot of our are diagnoses around depression, but again, my helping spirits see depression differently than
Mhm.
the human eyes see depression, just feeling like not disempowered basically. You don't feel confident in yourself, you don't feel in the groove of life, in the flow of life, and that power animal, they come to you. We don't choose who they are. They come to us. I had someone in one of my first classes where I taught intro to shamanism and learning how to journey. And someone's like, I know this, what this power animal is. And I sort of was very merged with my teaching helping spirit. And I'm like, You don't really know because our thinking mind is so limited. And so when they come to you, it can be quite a surprise in the form that they come to you because you're like, I don't really have an affinity for that kind of animal. Or maybe it's something they're actually repulsed by, say, like a spider or something like that, right? But that animal, that form or that spirit is coming to you, not only because it's what you need at that time and they can see deeper into your life, but it's something that you might even need to work through in order to accept.
Well, sometimes they're asking you to face something. Maybe it's about they're coming to you to help you move through some fear that
Right?
you have about
Like
standing in
spiders.
in being right, but also just as in standing in an empowered way. Maybe there's some fear for you around that, and this power animal's asking you, yes, maybe my I make you a little uncomfortable, but if you can step through that and into the power of it, that's really huge to be
Yes,
able to do that. And I think sometimes people get really hung up on, I want the big predator, I want the
the
like
apex
the
predator.
right, some idea of what you feel like that power is, but the power of an ant is just as
Right.
powerful as a bald eagle. There's no hierarchy
There's
amongst
no
power
hierarchy at
animals,
all.
right? There's no one like better than the other. Everybody's got a unique set of gifts, and I think we forget that just as we all have a unique set of gifts that makes us all individual and unique, just our power animals are the same way. They come with their own set of gifts and
Yes.
medicine and power that they bring with them when they decide to say, I'm going to come forward and help you out. I got your back, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and that's what power animals do. I mean, you can go through, a really challenging time or go through a very fear-inducing experience, and that power animal and helping spirits in general really have your back. But yeah, that there really is something to be said about working through particular fear, and they're empowering you to work through that fear because once you do that, you're like, "Oh, that wasn't really half as bad as my mind made it out to be, was
Yeah.
it?"
Yeah, and when we can set aside the of what I want versus what
Right,
I need, and you look at the power animal that's come to you, is when you can look at it through the lens of what do I need right now? Do I
right.
need nurturing? Do I need, teeth and claws? Do I
Uh-huh.
need, a sense of play? What are the gifts, the characteristics that this animal's medicine is bringing for you?
Right. And, another thing too is getting back to that student, she was kind of disappointed that that animal that she met in the lower world wasn't the one that she thought. But I tried to coach her around, try to just be with this moment and this opportunity to get to know this particular spirit. It's come to you for a reason. So she had to kind of work through that. But there really is a beautiful gift around that. And again, there's no hierarchy. There's nothing better or less than. And I think we have a lot to learn about that in our human construct. So there can be romanticized ideas about, for instance, an eagle, an apex predator like a wolf or a bear.
Tiger,
Right? The beautiful thing about I know somebody that has a power animal that's a fly. I mean,
so
you
cool.
have to kinda get over, if you ever saw the movie The Fly, you're like, "Oh, that's kind of repulsive," but there's some teaching in that, and that thankfully that person was open-hearted and open-minded to be able to, really embrace the teaching of this power animal.
Yeah, and just imagine, we always say you wanna be the fly on the wall, but now she can. Now
Right,
she can
right? How exciting. And, like, there's some, insects that have billions of eyes, like a dragonfly.
Oh,
What would
yeah.
the world look like through their eyes? I mean, I that to me is exciting.
Exactly. What kind of view are they giving you? What new perspective?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
What's it like, for instance, as a spider to spin a web?
oh,
I
yeah,
mean, wow.
the beautiful, like, intricate artwork that you just make, it looks so
Yeah,
effortless, you know?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love power animals, and I when I first stepped into, doing this work, it was so nerve-wracking to work with a client and bring forward a power animal because people can have such strong reactions
Yes. Yeah.
to this is, the medicine of this animal that is coming forward for you is, not always something that feels warm and fuzzy that, people might have a fear reaction with, and you're like, "Okay, we can do this."
Yeah.
And that was more about confidence in myself than
Sure.
anything else, right? But it's just the gift of it. I've actually found in those instances that I was actually bringing forth an animal that the person was like, "Ah, yes, I
Yeah.
love that animal, and I've had this relationship with this animal through off and on throughout my life," and it just was so meaningful
Right.
for them to get this animal. So that was really exciting and so affirming for me when I was first
Totally.
starting out, to say, yeah.
I remember, I think it was the same class actually. This woman, was brought this particular power animal and by her partner, and she said, "I can't even tell you how many of these animals are in my house right now. My whole house is decorated with this." She's like, "This is amazing." And then I had another student one time come back from the journey in tears because it you energetic fingerprint. She felt like it was an old friend, and
Mm.
indeed, it can be a friend from many, many lifetimes, and you've worked together before.
Yeah, there's something about being able to, I think, connect whether you're learning or, you have watching students or people who are
Mhm.
learning and doing this power animal retrieval, the impact of when they're really able to connect and journey with this
Yeah.
being is a whole new way of seeing and experience it, right? Than and someone who
Yeah.
maybe doesn't know how to journey and is having it,
Exactly.
and maybe doesn't have the greatest relationship with that animal.
Yeah, I think that the direct revelation we've talked about in a couple of previous episodes that, when you start to understand what this relationship is all about, and that, the real beautiful kernel of power is the relationships that you form in the other worlds. Again, shamans are not doing the work, it's their helping spirits. So the closer you've bonded and honored these beings, the tighter that you are, and you're working as a beautiful, I guess a team is the only word that comes to mind, where they're doing the etheric work and you're kind of standing by and bringing it through.
You're the bridge. You're the bridge for that to take place, and you're allowed, you're the hollow bone, so to speak, for that, energy, that healing to go between you and the person you're working with. And
Right.
it's so interesting to me when we take the time to build relationships, even if it's someone that, you've either worked with a practitioner and had a power animal brought to you, or you've done a meditation and one's shown up for you, or to taking the time to building this relationship of reciprocity where it's a give and take between the both of you. It isn't just that this power animal's here doing things for you, right? It's
Right.
a give and take, it's an honoring and a
Yes.
relationship of gratitude. And that's where the juicy stuff, I think,
That's
really
where the
comes
magic
from sometimes.
happens.
Yeah, exactly. Is
Yeah.
and, especially if you know how to journey and just journey to
Mhm.
build relationship, not necessarily like you're always having some other intention. Maybe you're just journeying to have a picnic with
Mhm.
your, power animal to build relationship and play.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think, for people that don't know how to journey to their power animal, they're kind of stuck, not knowing really knowing how to communicate or bond with them. And again, my power animal, even though it might be the same as yours, is a completely different being.
Yes.
So it's bringing different gifts and lessons and relationship to you. So you can't really look it up in a book. I
No,
think that's really
no.
limiting the power of that relationship and the power of the being.
It's they have their own personalities, right? I mean,
Yes,
like, how
they
many I
do.
mean, they have their own quirks and
Mhm.
foibles and,
And their senses of humor are different.
yes.
And, just to piggyback on what you said, knowing their energetic fingerprint in the journey, so when some of them do shapeshift, and so some of them like to be a little jokery and tricksy and
Yeah.
and
Have a
they
little
like to
fun.
yeah, and so one of them likes to shapeshift, and I'm like, "Well, wait a minute, are you?" And then I'd hear this, like, kinda cackle and, like, laugh, and, so just knowing their energetic fingerprint is really, really important. But it is to me, I think the challenge is for people that don't know how to do a shamanic journey, is to like, well, I don't know really have an affinity for this animal sometimes, and they don't know how to bond with it. And to me, that's they don't make the effort to even try, and that to me is like this. closed door on this opportunity to have a new friend. I mean, they are allies in the spirit world. They're very they will show up for you. The more you honor them, the more they'll show up for you.
Yeah, the more you bring them forward and just acknowledge them in your day to day, I find that that relationship just gets stronger and stronger. And there's so many ways you can do that outside of journeying. You
Yes.
can intentionally just say, if your helping spirit is a cat of some kind, you could call them in when you're eating his steak and be like, letting you kind of merge with me a little bit here, enjoy this embodied experience of some meat that you probably haven't had in a long time, or eating it with just the intention that I'm eating this as a gift and an honoring to my
Yeah.
helping spirit, so that you're just having this intention, you're bringing them to your forefront of your mind. You could have pictures of them around, you could be that crazy cat lady. And nobody, without giving away the power of your power animal by sharing it, right? It's still deeply personal, but you'll just start to find that having a picture there reminds you of this power that's available to you, that is with you.
And I find too, the more and more you work with certain power animals, the more different types of food you start to crave, especially if you do something that's called merging. They'll want to actually you'll start to crave these foods. And, our, in shamanic cultures, traditionally, they would dance their power animals for hours or days. I mean, and so they would really live a different life and really honor these beings, and even the hunt and would be a very sacred act if they had to kill a being that, or an animal that was their power animal. So yeah, there's a different relationship that we have. We doesn't mean we can't honor them still.
Yeah, and you can dance them today. I dance my power animals all the time. I put on some music. I
Yep.
invite them to come in and be with me, and then it's really interesting who will show up and kind of
Uh-huh.
move through. And I find myself moving in ways that are not ways that I, as a person, normally move.
Right?
So,
Yeah. It's
it's
fun.
just it is fun, and it's invites this sense of play
Mhm.
with your helping spirits, and let yourself be silly, and just enjoy that.
We can, honor, like, say if you had a power animal that's an endangered species, you can make donations to, say, like a wolf sanctuary or an elephant fund, or, big cats or rhinos, and, honor them that way. If you don't even know how to journey, you can still um, build a relationship with them that way. So that's another option. And the other thing is too, humans are not the only beings that have power animals. You can do a power animal retrieval for a tree, a piece of
A
land,
relationship.
right? A relationship, very much. Yeah, that really helps a relationship become a more empowered,
Whether it's like a business relationship, it
right?
could be a intimate relationship, like, I mean, power animal
Yeah.
retrievals can be great for a group, like when you're trying to build cohesion and
Yeah, you can do a power animal retrieval for a pet, or say you have livestock and they're a little off or sickly or something, you can do a power animal retrieval. But again, it's all around the diagnostic journey. You're helping spirits show you if they need a power animal retrieval. So yeah, they're like having invisible friends.
yeah, and I think the more you bring your awareness to them and building this relationship, the more they show up in unexpected ways. Maybe you're having a really bad day and that Geico commercial comes on and you happen to have a day gecko as your power animal, and it's just like a little friend giving you a wink and a nudge and like,
Hello.
"Hey, I'm still here." Or you get
Hey.
off a plane somewhere and you happen to see a big billboard with an elephant on it. It's just, it's just
Yeah,
or in a magazine, or you're if you happen to have a power animal that's something that lives around you daily, they just might start showing up more and more in your day-to-day
right.
life as a reminder of like, "I'm here. I see you.
And I'm real. The big thing is I'm real.
Yeah, I'm real and I'm here." And when we get so caught up in the routine of our lives, sometimes we forget
Yeah.
that's still there and available to us. And it reminds us to say, oh yeah, I can call that in and say, oh, power animal, I'm having a really bad day. I
Mhm.
need a little extra juice.
Right.
Please help me. Or, what if you have fox for a power animal and you don't really want to be seen today? You're kind of like,
Yeah.
give me your powers of camouflage because I'm going to be invisible,
And again, if one person has a fox as a power animal, another person has the same kind of fox, again, the power can be different. It might not be camouflage. It might be, I don't know, something else. Somebody stealth, or
Play.
play, or it could be sort of the realm of the fae. It could be all kinds of things,
Yeah.
and it's not even just that one stagnant meaning. I mean, it's a real spirit, it's a real relationship. So for instance, my relationship with you, Brie, isn't just about one thing. It's not about this podcast, right?
I can't look it up in a book, Tina, and you can't tell
Right?
me?
Like my relationship with Brie, Brie's face means podcast. No.
Oh, no, boy. We're we're in
No,
trouble then, no.
it is totally. So it's way more richer than that, way more in depth.
And I mean, to not poo-poo books, it's not that I'm anti-book about it. I think they can be a good tool to give you an idea of the gifts, but I always encourage my clients and my students to say, understand the actual animal itself, how it
Yeah,
lived. What were its strengths? What are its weaknesses? What does it eat? What are its habits? These are the gifts and the medicine that this
yeah,
animal had in life and has in spirit and can be lent to you, enhanced to help you to enhance your own senses and the view of
right.
the world.
Like, when I was a child, I was infatuated with documentaries like The Wild
Oh,
Kingdom,
yeah.
and, so nowadays, what I'll tell a client is, if they don't know how to journey, watch a documentary on this power animal that I just brought back for you, or a couple of YouTube videos. Now we have YouTube, but you can watch 5-10 minutes rather than a whole documentary, and you can read about them and get to know who they are and how they live and how they survive and what they eat. It's just obviously we're both very passionate about it.
Yeah, we definitely
Yeah,
both have good, strong feelings about power animals. They're just, they have been such a support for me in the hardest of times. They
no
remind me to
kidding.
laugh. They
Yeah.
remind me I'm not alone. They
Yep.
show up. They, kick me in the
And
butt when I need it.
right? And sometimes you can even have dreams about power
Oh, yeah.
animals. They're still talking to you when you're sleeping. But we did talk about this before, but you really don't wanna shout out from the rooftop what your power animal is. I know there are some teachings where, "Oh, what's your power animal?" And it's sort of shocking to me, because you're giving that sacred energy away.
Yeah.
The power of the shaman is really their helping spirits and embodying those helping spirits and the power of those helping spirits. And so you wouldn't want to just lend it out and just give it away.
It does disempower because it is a
Right.
sacred
Yeah.
relationship. It's a personal relationship, and, definitely if you know how to journey, you should ask, "Can I
Yeah.
share you? Or should I not share you?" I have some that are okay and some that are very like, "No."
Right. I mean, when I named my business in 2010, I got the name of the business and I had a journey and I said, um, is this okay for me to use? Because I don't want to just give away my power and taint the relationship I have with you. And I got full on permission. So it's really the only one I talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the only one I can really talk about super openly as well, because it's
Isn't that
funny. It
interesting?
is interesting, and they show up the most for me and tend to be the ones that, every day
Yes.
he is there like, "Hey, sup? What's going
Caw
on?"
caw.
Yeah, "Where are my peanuts? I want my peanuts."
So, I am very curious what spirit has to say. I know we both did an in-depth journey about this, about the gifts that are brought by developing the relationship with our power animals. So do you want to share first?
Sure. So, my helping spirit said, "A deep relationship with one's power animals is a gift that never ends. They come forward to lend you their strengths, their friendship, and compassion so that you may live a more empowered life. When you take the time to develop a reciprocal relationship, you come to understand the gifts that they have to share with you. They are a true friend in the most turbulent of times who can make you smile with their antics, support you when your tears flow, and dance with you in times of great joy. They celebrate your accomplishments and share in your sorrows. They know the trials and tribulations that can be experienced while navigating life in a body. They can lend you their gifts, their strengths, allowing you to see the world through their eyes. They help you to learn how to let go and approach an issue you are facing from a new perspective. When you take the time to truly develop a relationship with your power animals, you start to come to understand non human beings with new eyes, to see the unique soul that exists in each living being. They touch your lives in deep and profound ways, It is only right to honor and acknowledge them in return.
Mm, yeah, totally. It is just like that. So when I journeyed, my power animals spoke in unison, which was really interesting. I'd never had that experience before. So they said, "We power animals are indeed formless, compassionate spirits now, with the wisdom of having lived in a body on the earth at one time, in some cases, many times in different forms. Not only can we now have non attached and sometimes humorous and compassionate perspectives for you, but we can give you our eyes to perceive your world without the limited human lens. This is important in order to quell rigidity of the human thinking mind and hierarchical experience. Humans have been programmed to perceive their lives in sometimes uninspiring, stagnant ways. We power animals help you relearn your life through the power of our divinity and also the power of our senses that we once used when we walked the earth. Each of our powers is not comparable, they are simply different and just what you need at the time we become consciously connected with you. In most cases, we have been watching you for a long time and know you better than you know yourselves. We provide teachings for your growth as well as love and guidance. Honor us, and we will show up for you in the most surprising ways. We love to surprise you. That is true. We are not in books. We reside in the transcendental realms, and our powers cannot be limited by the human mind."
Wow.
Yeah. Phew.
I love that. You can hear, I could just practically, it gives me chills, just like you can hear all of them speaking.
Yeah, they really were. I was like, whoa, this is very interesting.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
So we have a journey prompt for you to go with this episode for those of you that know how to journey. And this has got kind of multiple steps for you if you're feeling up to it. Ask to be shown what your power animal was like when they were alive in a body on this earth. And then, if you have some time, you can ask them, why did they come to want to work with you? And I can also ask them to be shown how to deepen your current relationship with them with other ceremony, food, or some other action. Dance them, celebrate them. They may have some really creative idea for you that would be really unexpected and simple and fit into your everyday life. Who knows? They'll completely surprise you. I don't doubt it.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear if everybody wants to drop us a line on shamansafterdark.com. That'd be great. Until next time, everyone, keep on shining your light.